I mentioned earlier that we sent out a survey. Many of you probably got it and responded, so thank you for doing that. We were asking our customers in terms of, what areas of improvement, what other stuff can we offer, stuff like that. And one of the things that kept coming up, probably one of the more common themes, was people asking about help with marketing and things of that nature. So we're going to talk some about marketing today, specifically talking about some general tips, talk about websites, emails, social media, referrals, and swag, which we've already talked some about swag today too, but specifically in the context of marketing it. So, the first point I want to make is in terms of why do people sign up? There's a variety of reasons. If you were to ask somebody why they signed up, and I would put this question to you, those of you who have an existing race, have you ever asked your runners why they participate? Have you ever surveyed them after the race and tried to get input about what is it about your event that makes them participate? And so I would encourage you to, if you haven't done so, try to get some feedback on that, because that's going to help you know what key things to better market. Some people do it for the cause. Some people do it, for the swag. Some people do it for goals. The experience. I've talked about experience. We've already talked about experience some today. And one thing I'll mention related to that is marketing a race is great, but you've got to have a great race to market. Because if you go out and you spend a whole bunch of money on marketing and all that, but your race really, it doesn't have anything special to offer, you may not get a whole lot of results from the marketing. So you've got to not only do the marketing, but you've got to have a good product that you're selling, which is your event. So I would encourage you, before you start thinking about advertising, take a step back and think about that participant experience, the uniqueness of the event, that kind of stuff. So, there's a variety of reasons people sign up. Think about what makes your event unique. So is there a unique selling point? Is it something about the experience? Like with our panel discussion, Amy's race, finishing inside of Granger Stadium, having beer at the finish line, things like that is all part of the experience. Marissa was talking about her race with the turkey trot, the tradition of people coming every year and participating. So what are some of these things specific to your race? Unique selling point, experience, tradition, community. Think about all of that stuff and how that could factor into, your event's uniqueness. I would suggest too, starting, but with branding. Do you have a logo for your race? If not, you should. And have a color scheme that's reflected across, be consistent, reflected across a variety of different things. We have, I've found that event websites, I'll show you some examples that have nice logos and marketing and all that stuff, consistent color scheme, all that stuff can absolutely, help build your brand and help you to sell your race better. And if you don't have a logo, we can help point you in the right direction to get one. So every race should have a logo and a color scheme. So event websites, we want to think about a few key things to think about as far as websites go. Think from the runner's perspective. What do they want to see? What's the information you want to think about, not only from a marketing standpoint of what's going to convince them to run your race, but also what is the key information that they need to know about check-in and parking and the course and all of that type stuff, and make sure that that's all there, easy for them to find, that kind of stuff. Highlight the key selling points. So again, going back to this idea of uniqueness, what makes your race unique? What makes it something that somebody would want to participate in and be a part of? Mobile friendly is important. So that's the good news, is if you are working with us and on the Run Sign Up platform, mobile friendly and SEO is already going to be built in. A couple of things I want to point out about Run Sign Up. You know, when we're working with an event, we set them up on Run Sign Up. But another thing that that I'll show you an example of here in a second is a cover page, which gives you a lot more control over the look, the feel, the content, the colors, all that of your race website, as well as adding custom content. So adding other stuff beyond just the basics, custom content from course maps to you know, other content like that. So this is a couple examples of some, both of these are cover pages on Run Sign Up. But if you notice some common themes, we've got consistent branding and color on each race. They've got some easy buttons with calls to action to like sign up and stuff. They've highlighted, you know, what they view as some of the key information about their event, and they're showcasing in a really nice looking fashion. So I think both of these are examples of good event websites. They're getting the key information out there, nicely branded, all that good stuff. All right. So a couple of keys. So if you are working with us for your race, we set up your basic Run Sign Up page for you. That's included. So no cost to you, no additional cost for that. And another thing, a lot of times people ask, how do I do ... set up a coupon code, create, you know, add somebody to a team, change somebody's event, so on and so forth. runsignup.com/help is a great site that has a whole bunch of tutorials about just about anything you could possibly need to know how to do on your event website. So I would definitely recommend bookmarking that page. That's a great place to get help, both instructions, video, tutorials, all that good stuff, all in one place. So definitely check that out. You know, we also, beyond the basic setup that we do, if you do want help with design services, you know, logo design, creating cover pages, kind of like what you just saw there, you can ask us for more details, and we can help with that stuff as well if that was something that you wanted to do but didn't necessarily want to take it on yourself. We can definitely help with that as well. So the second part of marketing that we're going to talk about is email. You know, email is not necessarily always, doesn't necessarily always, everybody's talking about, you know, the latest social platform and all that stuff, and to some degree maybe overlooking email, but email is still an extremely effective way to reach people, especially if you have an existing event that's been around for a few years. You have a great list of people who have participated in the past. You know, email marketing is free and easy. You can reach a large audience. You can schedule emails to go out at certain times. Run Sign Up has an automated email capability, which we'll talk about in a minute. And you can get you know, stats, metrics, that kind of stuff after you send out an email to be able to see how that performed. Did you get signups from that email? Stuff like that. So a lot of benefits to that. So some tips on email marketing is to send regularly, but not too often. I would say most likely, from past experience, I would say most of you are probably, if you are on the already have a race and stuff, I would guess most people in here are probably going to err on the side of sending you could send more frequently. You know, you don't want to overwhelm people with too much email, but most of the time, you know, a lot of events may only send out 1 or 2 marketing emails per year, which I think you could definitely do more than that. You want to schedule your email strategically, so we'll talk about scheduling, here in a minute as far as like when to send out and stuff like that. So you want to schedule strategically. Also have a good looking template. So do either the new Run Sign Up email system has the ability to put together a nice looking template. It's got a pretty simple one built in that you can use. You can build something more advanced, or you can even purchase a template that you can customize and pop in there. That's what I do for our for the events that we own. I hired somebody. It didn't cost me very much at all to build me a template, and then I just pulled that template into Run Sign Up, and I just customize it when I want to send an email out. So it gives me something, a nicer looking interface, but you don't necessarily have to have that. Using the built-in stuff is usually, pretty good by itself, just getting that out there. As far as scheduling, I'll go back to that for a second. Scheduling strategically, I like, sending out one email whenever registration opens up, as well as sending a registration follow-up email, which can be scheduled automatically. That can be a good way if you have things to promote, like a referral program, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, or other stuff you want to tell them afterwards. One of the other things that doesn't happen nearly enough, in my opinion, is I think every single event should send out a pre-race email with details about what does the runner need to know? Where do I go? When do I go there? Like how do I check in? Where should I park? All that stuff. Because the more you can send out something like that, it's going to ease the burden on you answering emails and getting questions from participants. Along those lines, I would also recommend, going back to what we're talking about websites, is have a frequently asked questions section on the event webpage, because again, that's going to help cut down on the questions coming from people. If you find that a lot of the questions you get are all about you have 80% of your questions deal with these few topics, by all means put those on the FAQ, send them out to runners before the event. Get that stuff out there to help. It helps them because they're able to get their questions answered easier, and it's going to help ease the burden on you not having to deal with as much in terms of questions from having to handle those individually one-on-one. So I would definitely recommend that. Subject line in your email, descriptive, what is this email about? Short, to the point, limited punctuation, so it's less likely to get flagged by spam filters and that type of stuff. And so as I mentioned, Run Sign Up has a built-in email tool in the platform, so you can send emails out through Run Sign Up for free. And so that's definitely what I would recommend, as opposed to going to like a third party like a MailChimp or Constant Contact. You can certainly do that, but given that you can send them for free within Run Sign Up, I would definitely recommend going that route as opposed to paying for another service to do it. So when to send, and I'm not sure how well you can see this, so I'll let you know what some of these say, but like we talked about, a registration open email, this might be a good time to do like a save the date and a special early promo. I think this year would be a great year for that. If your race hasn't happened in a couple of years, or it was virtual and you're just coming back in person, I think this would be a great year to offer like a special promo, like an early bird promo code to your past participants, just kind of saying, hey, trying to get them come back this year. And so offering them like a promo code. So a registration open email would be a great time to do that. Also, as I mentioned, Run Sign Up has the capability to do automated emails. And so by default, when we set up your race page for you, we're going to turn on an incomplete registration email. And what that's going to do is it's going to automatically send somebody an email a couple days after they start to sign up, but they don't finish. And, you know, we have just a default message that they get for it, but you can, if you're so inclined, you can customize that message if you would like to be, you know, because you would be surprised at how many people start but never finish. And this way it's a, you know, effectively a reminder to come back and finish. You know, I've had people ask, should I send them a promo if they do that? And my general advice on that is no, because you're training people to do that if you send out a promo. Because there's a company that I order a lot of signs from, and they used to do that. And so what I would do is I would put all this stuff in my cart and I would leave it there for a day, because I knew if I left it there for a day, I'd get a coupon the next day and I could save. Now, thankfully, now they just give it, I have the coupon I can use anytime, and so I don't have to wait for it. But I would just wait for it. And so if you do a promo in there, I think you're effectively just going to train runners to do that. And so I don't think there's a whole lot of value in sending out the promo like that. But, you know, offering to, you know, if they have any questions or they need help or whatever, it can be useful. A registration follow-up. This is also something that it's automated. We don't turn this on by default. But you can go in and you can customize if there's a message or something you want to send out to people at a certain interval after they register. You can do that. That's a great way, as I mentioned, to for referrals. If you're doing referral rewards, this can be a great time to include that. We also turn on automated price increase emails that you can customize if you want. But what these do is they go out to previous runners who have not signed up this year, reminding them the price is about to go up, so they should sign up. And it goes out to your current participants telling them, hey, the price is about to go up, tell your friends. Because like I said earlier, there's always a big spike in signups in the 2 to 3 days before a price increase. So that can be a good way to help market and draw attention to that. And like I said, it's automated, so you don't have to do anything if we set it up for you, but you are, of course, more than welcome to go in. You can turn it off. If you don't want it, you can customize it, tweak it however you see fit. You can also do special promos. I'm a fan of these, sending out holiday promos and stuff like that. So, you know, creating a special coupon code and sending it out to previous participants if they sign up like on Valentine's Day or New Year's or whatever. You know, you want to be, you know, be strategic about how these fit into your overall marketing plan. You know, you don't want your race to be people to perceive that they should only sign up when they have a discount code. But like the best time, in my opinion, to do this is like after your price has already gone up, jumped up past the early bird, offer a limited time promo to take it back to the early bird or something like that. So if somebody registered early, somebody who registered after them is not getting a better deal. But it's just taking it back down. So that can be a good way to do it. Send out like a limited time promo. And then as I already said, pre-race emails can be a great way to do, get out information to them about what they need to know, what to expect, where to go, what to do, all that good stuff on race day to help answer their common questions. All right, so those are some suggestions in terms of email. Social media is the next big category that we're going to talk about with marketing. So some of the main things to do in terms of where to start, you know, add your social media handles to the website, put icons on your promo materials, let people know what platforms your race is on. You know, invite them to follow you. So in your emails that you send out and on the website and all that, invite them to follow you on whichever social platforms you choose to participate in, and post useful content to people, as opposed to simply just marketing your event. If you look at events that have a good following on social media and are doing it well, they're posting stuff that's relevant, that's useful to their participants. So there's actually some value to the participants in following them, keeping up with them, that type of stuff. So those are some kind of getting started things. Now, a few different avenues or ways of social. So one option is a Facebook group. And Facebook groups, these are going to work better for a larger event, or let's say that an organization that has a series of events throughout the year, and not necessarily as effective for like a small local event that's only a one-off a year. And what they can do, they can create more loyalty, take the experience beyond race day onto a like a group, an ongoing group thing. The negative too is it takes some work on your part to manage a Facebook group. It's not something you can just kind of set and forget, but requires some upkeep over time. So may not be appropriate for everybody, but certain types of events or things like that might be appropriate for. But I would say, definitely at least any event can have like a Facebook page or an Instagram account, and encourage people to tag photos when they post them on Instagram and stuff like that to try to get some event visibility out that way. So that can be a really good way of good option for social media. Social media advertising is another thing that we've had a lot of success with. A lot of events have found some success with it. You can see an example over here on the side of the screen where you can see a sponsored ad here for an upcoming race. And the benefit is they're focused ads that you can target specifically, and you get to control the cost. And so you can see I've got a table here of some recent ads that we ran and about what we paid per click for the ad. And so you can see relatively inexpensive way to drive some traffic to your event website. And so, for me personally, if it's an event that we own, this is the first and typically only place I spend money in marketing is on social media. I'm not running any TV, radio, anything like that. I'm putting my money here, and generally find that it has the most return, the most bang for your buck is advertising on social media. So for social media, what we do, we create a Facebook event for you on our Facebook page. So for anyone who wants to, we have some events ask to be the co-host of that event. You're more than welcome to co-host the event. That gives you admin access to that particular event. So you can add stuff to it if you want to be a co-host. You can share it with others. It's still worth creating a page. So that's actually different. So a Facebook event, what we create for you is an event specifically on the date of your race. And after your race is over, effectively that event goes away. But if you create a Facebook page for your race, that's something you can invite people to follow, and you can post on it, and you can stay connected with people well past the event and all throughout the year. So it's not just like the event, that would be more of that. So I'd still recommend creating a page, and then you can take that link to your page and you can put it on Run Sign Up. So there's a link from your race page to it, and stuff like that. We also have helped a lot of races with social media ads. So if you're wanting to try that as a way to reach more participants, we can definitely help with that as well. I would say as a starting point, definitely create the page. look up the event that we create, share it with others, add some stuff to it if you want. Things like that can be a good way to get started with social media. All right. Next marketing thing, referral rewards. Something I know a few of you, I think, have utilized over the years. But what this is it's an automated tool that incentivizes runners to refer other people to your race. And in last year, 17% of registration dollars came from referrals when they're enabled. So you know, that's a pretty big jump. You see it jump from 7% back in 2019. And so this is an automated thing you set up front. We can help you with that. Set it up front, and then as participants refer your race to others and they sign up, that participant gets credit for a referral. And then based upon the threshold and the reward and stuff that you set up, they get incentivized for referring. Now, what we found is if you set your referral threshold, you know, not too low, what we find is a lot of people will refer 1 or 2 people, but if you set your threshold a little higher, you're going to get a lot of people referring 1 or 2 people and you end up not actually refunding them anything. So it's a good good bang for your buck to do it this way. You don't generally, most of the races that have utilized this, we don't see them giving much back in terms of refunds, but they're getting a lot of you know, registration traffic as a result of doing referrals. So some tips and tricks about referrals. You know, think about upfront about the program. You know, what exactly do you want to do? You know, make sure it's clearly displayed. You know, make sure it's you know, you have it easy for people to share on social media. You know, use different thresholds for rewards. So as opposed to just one thing, use different things. So one of the things that an example of this might be, if you refer 3 people to the race, we'll refund you about half of your registration fee. And if you refer 5 people, we'll refund your whole fee back to you. So it incentivizes people both to hit that 3 and to keep going to the 5. You know, I don't recommend doing like a $5 per referral, because that's going to cost you a lot more, because you're going to get a lot more people who get to 1. Whereas if you do like a 3 and a 5, stuff like that, it's going to be structured more to where you're going to get more people referring, but it's not going to cost you as much. Another key to referrals is it's got to be front and center. It's got to be on the race page. You've got to be sending registration follow-up emails. You've got to stay in people's face, because it's going to be easy for them to sign up and forget about it. But the more you stay on people's radars and you remind them about it, the more likely they are to refer, to actually do it, refer some friends, stuff like that. And it's not costing you anything. You know, when somebody gets credit for a referral, it's only after somebody else has clicked on the link and they have actually paid and signed up for your race. So it's not just somebody going to the race page. It's not, you know, they actually have to pay money and sign up before that person gets credit for a referral. So next to social media, I would say this would be the next best place to put, or the other good place if you're going to effectively spend a little bit of money, is do this. You know, I would say that the stuff that we're talking about today, the reason I've picked these topics out as far as marketing is, in my experience, these are the things that if you want to be effective at your marketing, these are the things that you need to do. So the website, email, social media, and referrals would be another area that would be key, in my opinion. All right. And then the last marketing thing is swag. Swag sells. If you look at, the marketing for different races, like you see here, this is a marketing picture I took from, I think it was a Facebook ad for a race. Notice all this ad tells me about is the swag. It doesn't show me anything else about the event. It's all focused in on that swag. So highlight that swag on the event website, on social media, on the ads that you run. Focus in on that swag. And like I said, this is a Facebook ad right here. So you can see that was front and central to their marketing. And we saw this especially with all the virtual races that have happened over the last 2 years. One of their key things that they were promoting was their swag. And so I think now, even for in-person events, that's something that we can learn from the last 2 years, is how much swag played a key role as a central part of their marketing strategy. And I think that's something we can all apply in terms of, getting pictures of the swag, putting it out there, promoting it, that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Okay, good question. So what is quality swag? First of all, what is it not? It is not a white cotton t-shirt. So the trends in t-shirts, for a while, tech shirts were the hot thing. Right now, I would say more than tech is still popular, but I would say the other trend is the really ring spun cotton or tri-blends. So next weekend for our Valentine's race, we're doing long sleeve tri-blends. And that's been a real popular trend, has been the a better quality shirt. So it's not that you can't do shirts. I think you just need to do a better quality shirt, a shirt design that people actually want to wear. In addition to shirt. Okay. Yeah. I mean, people love finisher medals. That's a popular thing. In terms of like other stuff to give away, I think it comes down to in my experience, people like useful stuff. Some of the stuff that I've seen people like is not even stuff you would necessarily think about for a race, but when we've had races that give away like little things of chapstick and hand sanitizer, things like that, people love that kind of stuff. And the most cost-effective way to do it is to get one of your sponsors to pay for it. Get a sponsor to give away hand sanitizer with their logo on the bottle, and stuff like that. You can also, depending upon the size of your race and the market, would dictate whether you could get other companies to provide stuff like, years ago, we used to get samples from, different stuff. We would have, one time Advil sent a whole bunch of little sample packets to give out. I know some of the companies that make sports drinks and protein bars and all that. If your event has a big enough draw, you might be able to get some, some stuff from a provider like that. But I would say it comes down to stuff that people can actually use. Just like most of the time, the stuff that gets tossed away are like the business cards and stuff like that the sponsors put in, but the stuff that actually has a useful thing to it, or a special coupon. Oh, wow. Hmm. Yeah, that's a good idea. So some examples here of swag marketing. You can see here. So a couple different events here. So here we have, this is a both of these are screenshots from these races run sign up page. So you can see this one where you see the event, and then highlighted right here is what do you get? And I think that's a nice thing that you can do in the description, is telling people, you know, what's included, what do we get, and really making that case or selling them on, you know, is making the case for, it's not just a race, it's, you know, finisher's medal, chip timing, live tracking, instant results, you know, all the stuff you get with it. And you can think about that, and take that messaging and include it in, you know, like here from the event website. If you do any kind of print flyers or anything like that, emails, that type of stuff, you know, incorporate all of that in there as well. And then also you can see over here, they've done what's called the event display options in run sign up, where they've got like this special thing here highlighting something about it. They've got what's included. They've got pictures of the swag, that type of stuff. You know, because in this particular race, I think they have like 2 different tiers, and you get different stuff at different tiers and things like that. So, you know, you can do stuff like that to highlight that. So, any marketing questions here about any of these areas? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that is, you know, things like that that you may not necessarily encounter just going through like the race wizard and things like that. There's some things that are that are a little bit more, you know, not hidden necessarily, but a little bit harder to find because they're not there right with the main like race wizard and stuff. You know, it's not like essential. It's not necessarily essential stuff that you have to have, but there's a lot of that other functionality that if you do want to kind of take the race site kind of to that next level, there's a lot of that capability there. And yes, you do have access to it. And, you know, we can help in terms of, you know, how to do this to, you know, point you in the right direction, so you're not just kind of trying to figure it out on your own either. And there, like I said earlier, there's lots of great tutorials there too on that stuff. Yeah, and that's that runsignup.com/help that I mentioned earlier. Is that what you're talking about, the help page? Yeah, you can search for anything. And honestly, what we do, myself and my support team, when we get a question from a runner or from a race director, I would say 75, 80% of the time, we go to runsignup.com/help, we copy the URL and we send it back and say, here's how to do what you're trying to do. Boom. And so it's, and I tell all of you that because when you get runner questions, chances are you can do the same thing, and it saves you having to go in and, you know, having to manually figure out how to do something or do something for the runner. You can just send them a link and show that to them. Thank you. Other marketing questions? All right, so what I am going to do here for a minute is I'm going to attempt to show you kind of almost like a case study of sorts on some marketing stuff here. So this is our, our main thing that we do, as y'all know, is we time and manage other people's races for them. But we also have over the years had a number of our own company-owned races, and one of those happens to be coming up next weekend. So I wanted to show you kind of some of what we've done with this race, just to kind of see give you some examples, maybe get you, give you some ideas and stuff like that. So this is the run sign up page for our race. And you can see we have gone to an event cover page for the race. So what we've done is we've got, as I was talking about earlier, year one, we got a logo designed. We just met, and so every year, I have a designer who updates our graphics and stuff. So we have a banner at the top. Notice right there, this is another thing that we do, is we have the pop-up. So once somebody stays on the page for a set amount of time, we do this so we can get them to opt in to join our mailing list. So that can be something you can, that's a run sign up feature as well that you can do. Good. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So the question is about how do you keep the same logo but change your shirt every year? We just kind of changed the theme around a little bit. So for this one, for a Valentine's Day race, this race has been around for 11 years now. So at some point I'm going to run out of ideas. But usually I go to my designer and, kind of give her some ideas to go on. But we've done different. We will take that same logo and we've done a whole lot of different things to it. So one year he had wings. Last year he was wearing a mask. Yeah, doing different stuff. And so one year we did like a theme of like conversation hearts. Just changing the theme around but using the same logo basically. And yeah, right. Yeah, so you don't necessarily have to change the color scheme. Another thing that I'll tell you that I do when I'm trying to come up with the branding, like for the t-shirt for this, is I'll go to Google Images and I'll search for like Valentine's 5K t-shirt. And I'll look at other t-shirt ideas that other races have used and try to get, oh, that's a great, I like this about this. And then I'll take those pictures and I'll send them to my designer and I'll say, I like these ideas here. What can you come up with? And she'll kind of take that and run with it. And so that can be a good way to. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess that's a good question. I mean, I guess you could either use the existing festival's logo, or you could do one specific. I would say probably most of the events that we've worked with in a case like that have just used the main parent logo. Like when we used to do a race with the Aiden Collard Festival, they used just the main Collard Festival logo. I think for the most part, that's what I've seen. But the other option is to take the festival logo, make some changes, do some tweaks to it to make it specific for the race, things like that. So I think you could really you could go either way with that. Yeah, that's a good idea. So yeah, you could do the festival logo in one place, or you could take, a good designer could take that festival logo and add, something specific to the race to it or something like that. Mm-hmm. So you could do like a running mullet or something, try to add some hands and stuff, make it look like the mullet was running or something. So, um, so Anyway, just a few things I'll point out here. Notice on our banner at the top, we're putting in, you know, what are some selling points of the event. So that's front and center. My pictures that I've picked there, I strategically picked pictures, you know, that incorporate, notice we have kids, we have adults, we have this guy who looks like he's having a really good time, you know, doing different stuff like that to really showcase, you know, what's the message I'm trying to get across, which is this is a race open to lots of different people and it's fun, right? So trying to showcase some stuff like that. We've got, you know, the event highlights here with, you know, what's included, the sign up buttons. I've got, you know, again, stressing what's included. I've got my countdown. I've got pictures of the swag. I've got my sponsors featured, you know, things like that, all here on this on this race page. So, you know, kind of utilizing a lot of the stuff we've talked about today in terms of the website. I've got the cover page, I've got the artwork, I've got swag front and center, I've got key things showing what's included, that type stuff. We're doing group teams, you know, for race info. So I've got my course maps, because that's a common thing. I've got frequently asked questions. So I've got general FAQs and I've got specific to the virtual event. I've got the, you know, referrals. So I've got the run for free link where it talks about what you get for different levels. We're utilizing the photo platform. So people we upload pictures to the event, but people can upload photos as well. So I've got my different photos so people can go back and look at photos, see pictures of themselves, all that stuff right there on the website. We also have utilized the email system for sending out emails. So I'll just give you an example. So here we've got, like I said, I have a custom template that has, you know, the header. I've got some event photos. I've got a nice big call to action, all that good stuff here. So we've sent out our emails with that information. I've picked my list. Notice I can see, you know, how many were sent out, when it was sent, all that good stuff by using that, the email system here to see. No, this is a specific template for this race. So, you know, normally what we set up is we typically set up just the automated emails, which I'll show you an example of that. I did. Yeah, so I went in. So that's something. So in the email, this is something that you have access to, but we don't normally send out marketing emails specifically for each race. That's something. Yeah. Oh, those are just the in this new email system. That's just showing you all the emails I've sent out. So like that number is the number, like a unique ID of that email, not a specific template. No, in the new system, what I would encourage, if you've sent out emails before through Run Sign Up, you should switch over to now this email V2. That's going to be the replacement. But this is where you can go in and you can, you know, select your recipients, your subject, and then you can create email, and it's going to give you the choice to either start from scratch, use a basic template, or use your own HTML. So if I use basic, correct, yep. So notice this is just my basic template, gives me the ability to put in like a headline, some text, a call to action, and then a footer, and then I can add stuff to it. So it's a nice, I mean, it's a nice way to build something. You can also, though, like what I've done is, like I said, I had hired somebody to just design a template for me, and then I just pull that template in, and then that way, I think I saved it as a template, so then I can just reuse that over and over again each time. So that's what you can do in the main email system, or the new version V2, which, like I said, I would definitely recommend going over to that one if you've been using the old one and this just rolled out like a couple weeks ago, so it's pretty brand new. The other thing I mentioned was automated emails. And so just to give you an example of that, we have incomplete registration going out the day after, and it's just going to send them a message that says, you know, we noticed you started to register but haven't completed. Send you a reminder. If you want more information or you have any questions, go here. Hope to see you there. Boom. Just a simple little thing like that that goes out the day after somebody starts to register but doesn't complete. So that's another way, another thing that we're utilizing here. And like I said, we turn automated emails on for every race that we set up. But if you want to customize it, you can go in and you can customize it, the email message, the theme, anything like that can all be customized there. The other thing I'll show you while we're on here with email is email capture. So that was that pop-up form that came up earlier, if you remember, about interested in learning more. So you can create a pop-up form and you can have it display, either after a set time interval or before page abandonment, which means before, when somebody starts to scroll like they're about to leave your page, it'll pop up at that point too instead. So you can set it either way. Well, this is basically you create a custom list in Run Sign Up, and when they fill out that form, their name's going to go on that list. So, then you would have that list. I mean, technically, I guess, I think it just says interested. You would just have to change that description, I guess, to say, do you want to hear more about the race as well as other things our organization is doing or something like that. And then you would then have those names for that. So anyway, and the other marketing thing I'll show you is under promotion. This is where you can get your links, sign up codes, and the QR code is right there too. So that's where you can download your QR in a few different sizes. You can get sign up pages, sign up links. You can go to Facebook, and this is where you can put in your Facebook page, your Facebook event, Twitter, Instagram, social sharing. This is where you can create a custom heading, choose custom icons, all that stuff that when somebody shares your event on social media, the stuff that gets displayed there, so you can customize all of that as well. And then there's a whole lot of other more advanced stuff for tracking referrals and conversions and all that good stuff, kind of beyond what we're talking about today, but a whole lot more. So if you wanted to get into some more advanced marketing stuff, you absolutely could. There's a whole lot more there beyond the basic stuff. So questions about any of this stuff that we've looked at here as the example? No? Well, let me just mention a couple last things closing here. We're here to help. So, you know, whether you're already one of our customers and you just need some help processing some of this stuff we've talked about today, or you need help with some of these other areas, or somebody new just getting started with your race, you know, we're here to help. We can help with race timing, management, course measurement, design, marketing, swag, or just training your team. So we can help with any and all of that stuff that you need help with. So please let us know, reach out to us. We've got, you know, contact information here.